1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. As y'all can see, I got some new toys here. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. As y'all can see, I got some new toys here. 1 2 1 2. Bring a little of that bass. A little bit of that bass. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Oh, let me mute that. Yeah, but I got some new stuff here. Tag Magazine, Free Cipher, Be Divine Thought Allah. Welcome to the channel. Mecca Bees, Post Signs Born. But yeah, we got, we're gonna introduce some of this stuff here. We're gonna introduce some of this stuff at the time. But right now though, we're supposed to be, I don't know if it's working out. Somebody needs to check it out for me. But supposedly we're broadcasting on Instagram. We're supposedly broadcasting right now on Instagram, Facebook, and right here on Random Jewels. Let's see if it's working. I don't know. But at any rate, we got some little sound effects in here. You know what I mean? So everybody be careful. Everybody be careful. Because we don't know how it's gonna come out. Was Will STDU. Welcome to the channel. That with the 3 Y's right there, right? I gotta say that I hope that you're female. Just we got a little stuff here, man. That we don't want it. Felix Almanzar, Julia TV. So yeah, we got some new toys. I know we were supposed to test it out, right? We're supposed to have everything tested, but look, we had to come back. I got some little new stuff here. You can see I got the microphone. Yeah, the comments. I'm gonna tell you why that's better. Because these comments, right, that's at the bottom of the screen. These comments that's at the bottom of the screen, right, they stay up there for longer. So I can see those. But the other ones, I got the other comments rolling here. Look, Don Bishop, let me get some important things out the way. let me get some important things out the way, man, because I had something I wanted to ask you. Right? I'm not live on IG, but look, on the Allah Christ page. Not on I got 2 pages. I couldn't figure out how to get it to the I can't even recall which names I got. But you got to go to Allah Christ, I guess, and see. I don't know. That's what the app is telling. But one thing though I wanted to give a shout out, right, to the brother Jamal from the desert. The guy returned to the essence. He had his memorial was on born day. I wasn't able to make it because, I had some things to deal with in terms of the nation, the, the the school and all of that. We had some things to do, and I just didn't get a chance to make it out there. But, shout out to the guy. You know what I'm saying? One thing that uh, I wanted to say about him is that he had a lot of good ideas. You know what I'm saying? Not to talk about him, but just to say a lesson that you can learn is that uh, you know sometimes don't let your personality, right? Don't let your personality blind people to what you're saying. Like, you could let the truth speak, you know what I'm saying, without you getting, because the guy had like, at least in New York now, you come to New York and you see all these 99-cent stores. The guy had that idea before everybody else. They actually opened, him and this other brother named uh, Prince Love. You know what I'm saying? You know, as you look back and laugh now, but I used to call them the Black Prince and the Fat Prince because you know, if you know why I said that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they had a 99-cent store, but people that I for one didn't understand the signs, that they were saying, and the way they was presenting it to the nation, as something that we could have used to prosper off of, and then years later, uh, he had insurance policies where I seen brothers services, what I'm saying, get paid for from those policies that he started. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, just in terms of being creative and having a lot of ideas. What is this? He said, please say my name. Okay, now before I say his name, right, can somebody just make sure somebody tell me, right, that this is not some type of meme. Like, if this is some type of meme, right, I don't want to be involved. Like, is this, or just you seeing me saying other people's names, and you would just like a shout. I don't know what that's about. We gotta be careful. We gotta be careful online these days. It's wild. How it used to just be just much more carefree. Used to just be able to be much more carefree and not, have to just always be pausing. Now somebody's got to vouch for you. See, that's not a 5% name. See, these other people, first of all right, let me say your name. Where you from? Let's get down. Let's get down and see, because that's how all these other people got their names. So can't let you skip the line. Where you from, and what brings you onto the Random Jewels network of channels here tonight? Yeah, I don't know if this is when you've made it or not when you get this kind of thing. When you get this kind of thing. Hold on, wait a minute. I got something for him. All right, now see Muhammad. Muhammad, that's a name I can say. Muhammad, shout out there in Tunisia. You know what I'm saying? I had no idea that random Jews had that kind of reach. But shout out to you in Muhammad in Tunisia. What city is that? As if I would know. As if I would know if you told me. But look, just for the audience, what town and city in Tunisia is that? Yeah, don't let me forget that I got my don't let me forget I got my chicken in the oven. Y'all know how I get caught up. But yeah, on that serious note, man, you know what I mean? Shout out to Jamal, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, uh, this is the way that we gotta live forever. You know what I'm saying? It's from knowledge being made born. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that's something, he started the foundation of having these, creative ideas of how we could advance, that other people could grow off of that. You know what I'm saying? In other news, uh, shout out to my daughter, Dr. Deja. Dr. Dr. Deja has 5 clients. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure, right? What it is that she's prescribing there. I don't know what is the prognosis of said patients. I don't get into all of that. But yeah, Dr. Deja, you'll be happy to know, has 5 clients. It's time is passing fast. So getting down to uh, Don Bishop. Are you there? Are you out there, Don Bishop? We need you to come to the front of the stage. Leonard Jones. Yeah, I was just talking to her earlier today. Leonard Jones, what's the deal? Boy, did you say I am live? Am I live on Instagram? On the Alarm Christ page? I gotta figure out how to get to the other page. But right now we testing all this out. We got some other stuff here. We got some other stuff here that we're gonna be introducing. But we waiting for the right and opportune times. All right, so if you didn't see it, don't worry about it. We're getting figured out. You said I am just a kid, bro, 10 years old. I'm saying you should you gotta Allah Christ. Add Allah Christ. But yeah, that's what I was saying there, Muhammad. You know, shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for coming on the channel. But you know, at 10 years old, you know, it's other channels that's a little bit better for you, a little more suited to what you need to be doing. So shout out to Muhammad in Tunisia, and we'll see you later. Shaka Nulu. Oh yeah, wise understanding. This microphone, I have no idea. It came with, I doubt it's anointed because I think this stuff is Chinese. I think that's what it is. Uh, I might need to. I might need to uh, get a better microphone. And remember, I got the gold tone. Remember, I still got the gold tone. I just ain't look it up. But Don Bishop, are you there? I need to. I got a specific question for you there, Don Bishop. A specific question. Frankie Blanco, welcome back. Yeah, we just testing out our new equipment right now. Shout out to Frankie Blanco. See, this is starting. I gotta get the keys mastered over here. Got a lot of keys. You know what I'm saying? But Don Bishop, are you there? Calling Don Bishop. This is just look. I know. Gets Don Bishop. You know he's the hardest working man. You know he's the hardest working man in what's your name? This right here is called the G10. But I got a couple of them. You know, I don't know if anybody needs some. I don't know if anybody needs, but yeah, I got a couple of these. It says I'm not. Yeah, I gotta get that figured out. Am I live on Facebook? I think I should be live on Facebook. I mean, I should be live on Facebook. Don Bishop, calling Don Bishop. I got a lot of toys, son. I think I'm on either Donnie Banks or Allah Christ on Facebook. Somebody see if I'm on Facebook real quick. So yeah, I got all this stuff right here. You know, I'm just look. I'm gonna warn y'all. But this is a warning, right? Let that be a warning. Let that be a warning that you know we got some Summer Jam shit set up over here. That, you know we don't want nobody to get caught up. I guess Don Bishop bounced out on us. So what's the deal, man? We got any do we have it? You know, we're gonna open up the floor kind of early this week. we're gonna open up the floor early this week for questions. It's the look. You gotta send me the image because look, I have. Speaking of that, I got a surprise. But you know what's happened? See, since I got all my stuff back, I noticed nobody comes on acting crazy no more. What gives? But let's not. Okay, somebody just commented from Facebook. Is that you understanding? King Bath. See, I got hold up. We got a whole bunch of we call this sound effects. But who is Lawrence Robinson? Shout out to you. Welcome to the channel. You know, we primarily broadcast on YouTube, but we got some new toys in the building, so we decided to see if we can broadcast all of it. Apparently, we were successful here on gives here. We were successful on Facebook, but we were not so successful. You said this the mathematician. Oh, the mathematician, what's the deal? Hold on, let me get my plug. I gotta plug something in over here so that we don't go out. But shout out to the mathematician. Hold on, let's bear with me. I need to get a little clip in. Y'all don't know. It's supposed to be doing my workout today. So far, let me get in. So remember when I first got these and I couldn't even get up. Right there. A little bit of lightweight money. But no, uh, I don't need you to make the meme. I just need you to send the picture. You send the picture, I got the rest. So, uh, what's your signs? What's going on? What's the signs? What's going on, mathematician? What you been up to? What happened to Don Bishop? I gotta ask him what's going on with something, man. He's the resident expert. He said we're a nation. A nation collects taxes. If this is your way of life, then everyone should give gold every month. Okay, now, uh, I don't want to, I don't want to sound like a charlatan. I don't want to step into Umar Johnson territory, right? But I'm just saying, when you say give gold, do you mean hit the cash app right here, or you mean, or you talk about on a national level? Are you talking about on a national level that we need to institute some things? That's what it is. I got to get this level up like this. You said exactly. Yeah, that's another one of my what's names, man. That's another one of my okay for the school. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because you know how you tell somebody, you give somebody two options, and then they say exactly. You like, yeah, which one? So you saying for the school? I mean, so for all ciphers, so is how would you uh how would you institute that? Oh, that's what it is. Don Bishop. See, I knew Don Bishop. He's the hardest working man in Jamaica Queens. Who's the hardest working man in Texas? We see him in a couple of live streams. But yeah, look, I wanted to ask you, Don Bishop. Don't let as soon as you're available, right? I need to ask you some things about what's going on with Gorilla Hebrew. I know, I know, I know, I know. That's not this channel, but it's just some things that what has happened. How's smell goods? But understanding, I'm asking, right? Like, how would you institute it, right? Because see, like for instance, right? See, it's difficult to charge somebody for something that you got for free. Oh, down. Oh, so you've been waiting for me to. So you knew that was coming. So being that you knew I was going to ask, right? I'm sure you have an answer prepared for me. You said you heard Father Shop One build on some type of membership. Now look, that's an idea. You know, I'm not. I'm not being against it. You know what I'm saying? This is how. If you have an idea like that, right? You know what I'm saying? We gotta be able to articulate it, right? So that other people see, like you saying, when you saying that, we the nation and all that. You know what I'm saying? And things that we gotta do in cooperation. People have to have the message communicated clearly so that they can know what their part is. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of times we haven't dealt with the communication, amongst ourselves. You know what I mean? Even if it's in your own head, right? You about to execute something, you thinking it out to all of the, uh, at least easily foreseeable outcomes that might come. You see what I'm saying? So, um, that idea, what you said, right? So you said it's not a charge. Again, all people in the nation pay gold. Now, when you say, all right, now look, the idea that Father Shabon got, right, at least the way I understood it, is voluntary. Meaning, uh, it's if we're gonna say, if we're gonna say, uh, is a person in poor standing, is a person in bad standing if they don't pay the money? Like if you're a young guy and you just coming in, can you get the math without paying the money? You know, are you allowed to wear a flag? Is there a wall of shame where your name is up there if you don't pay? So these are the things where, you know, we have to, keep in mind what our principles is. You see what I mean? Because see, once it becomes about the money, right, then what's gonna happen, right, is that in some instances, the money is going to become more important than the principles. Like if a person has to pay their taxes in order to get a flag, eventually, in some cases, right, amongst people that not focused, right, if you pay the money, right, then you don't need to know what the flag means, right, et cetera, et cetera. But hold on, let me get. So you said the Israelite community is calling him Pegatron with his establishment. Sarnetta interviewed him against Cesariak advice. Dude claimed it was a fantasy that he wanted his wife to, uh, I don't know if YouTube was, wait, he wanted the clapping cheeks to be in reverse. That's what you're saying. That's the reason. Because listen, I seen him on No Jumper. I seen him. He got a new channel where he was, I wouldn't say discussing gang business, but it just was. I was like, wait a minute, what the hell? But he said, funny thing is, people still look at him as a leader in the Israelite community, not ISUPK and Cesaria. They said Sakari is finished. Yeah, but, right. So that's what I'm saying. That's how I was looking at him. Like, yeah, he's one of the people over there. And some of the stuff I seen him do, I was like, whoa, whoa. And look, he was describing that situation that you was just saying. You, he was describing the situation. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? So you said, understanding said everyone functions in a different way. It doesn't just have to be gold, just add on in some way. You shouldn't have to ask if this is our way of life. You shouldn't have a problem adding on. I mean, look, uh, Sir Love from the neighborhood missed us by that You know what I'm saying? But I mean, look, God, you know, uh, I mean, I hear you. These things is real. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, okay, so now let's get that to the active point, right? Like, let's say, for instance, right? You know, uh, my point is that I understand what you're saying, right? And you preach it to the choir right now. You see what I'm saying? Like, so we getting ready to do the book bag drive at a lot of school, right? Look, and we've been doing it for years, months, and days, right? And in all that years, months, and days, you know what I'm saying? It's a handful of people. Like, we talk about all of the various years, the various people that come, the various people that add on. It's a handful of people, man. Wait, Dark Bishop, we got to get back. We got to come back to this at the end of this live stream. Listen, we might have to switch this over. We might have to switch this over to. We might have to switch that over to city sciences, man. Yeah, but see, this is what I'm saying though, right? You say we shouldn't want for anything, understanding, right? Uh, just as an individual, I'm not saying that that's how you speaking, right? But for me, right, it's like you gotta kind of draw a line, right, between the idealistic and the practical. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, we shouldn't want for nothing, but the reality is that, look, okay, we ordered the bags, right? But we still got to get the supplies, right? And then we need the the bags gotta the supplies gotta get in the bag. The bag gotta be given out, right? We also we want to have some burgers and some franks out there. You know what I'm saying? So to get a little snack and all that. You know, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, uh, it's look, the chosen ones is those who choose themselves. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, you know, that's who I deal with. You know what I'm saying? And we get things done. You know, but I do agree with you, right? 100%. I agree with you that you know the 5% is something that people people take from the 5%, right? But they don't give nothing back. See, you got a lot of people that uh, you know this is the knowledge that they use to get themselves out of heaven. I mean, to get themselves out of hell. You know what I'm saying? This is what they built their heaven with, was this knowledge right here. But then when you get to a point, you know what I'm saying, you wanna put that focus somewhere else now. When you give back, you're giving back to, you know, uh, things that you got introduced to over the time, and look at, and that's peace. If a person is doing that, it's not a complaint, but it is a recognition of reality. You know what I'm saying? Just in terms of, you know, you had the knowledge, in the same era with me. right? When one comes to the school rallies and sign a book, they need to add on at least every month. You know, uh, but look, if we look at all of the people, right? You know what I'm saying? You know, look, start with me, right? From Darkim BLR all the way down, all the way to the guy crack him, right? Crack him, right? If we look at all that, right? All of the people that have used this way of life to advance themselves, right? Look, it's still been a handful, G. Like at the end of the day, look, you know, I'm definitely with you, what you're saying, right? But I'm just saying that look, uh, when you find a way to get everybody else on board, right? You know, I you know, I love that. That's you know what I'm saying? Like, but look, uh, and I don't, want to, you know, it's not about separation, but it's just the truth that look, bro, I'm not waiting for those mystery guys either. I'm not setting up home waiting for them either, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm perfectly prepared, right? And I guess you could say in the mindset that look, the cavalry may not show up, at least not in time to change nothing for me. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we've heard this kind of talking since the day we got the knowledge. And we've been talking about the original nation is 4,400,000,000, right? Ever since we've been saying we're going to take them off our planet, right? And devil, who only numbers 1 to every 11 original people. Okay? It's always, we've constantly, we've heard that, we've said that, yeah, look, all we got to do, how many words is that? This is, listen, those is the I don't even know the word for it, but listen, those is 4 words right there, right? That when you hear that, just know that the shit ain't gonna happen. Because if that's all we had to do, why the fuck you ain't been dead? You don't fool me. All you gotta do, listen, you know how many people sitting in jail right now? That's the last thing the homie said to me. The homie walked up the block and said, look, man, I got it, man. Look, all we gotta do. So, yeah, like I said, I understand it, but yeah, how we gonna do it? I said, start exiling. I mean, okay, what are we exiling for? So otherwise, the school might be going. Look, now that part right there, I have no dispute. There's nothing else. There's nothing you can say, right, without being religious. There's nothing you can say without being religious, right? And uh, having some type of mindset that there's some magical force, right, that's going to maintain the school for us no matter what. Like the spirit of old man justice is watching over it, and so you know if if anybody tries to mess with the school, their face is going to get burned like the Ark of the Covenant or something. You would have to believe something like that, right? To not know or to not realize that it's things that we gotta manifest in this day and time, right? To establish the future at the end of the day. Said we got to get things in order before it's too late. I mean, look, I got some things that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the plan, G? Because see, a lot of times in these plans, right? Here's the thing you gotta understand, right? Is that I be wondering, like, look, what is everybody else gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, I already got X amount on my plate. So if a person comes and say, yeah, we need to do all this and all that, see, a lot of times the weed that's feet on the concrete, right, is the handful of people still. You said we need a main account. What is it? What do you mean? What what kind of account are you talking? Need to get a way to practice up like this so I can see my what's the names. Who was that when you said we need a main account? A nation has a record of everyone in it. I mean, I can't, you know, these is things that yeah, we gotta develop the idea. But you know how we get this knowledge, G. You know how we, you know, when now is yeah, it is different. People is older, but when you got 15-year-olds teaching 14-year-olds, teaching 12-year-olds, there ain't nobody keeping track. I mean, we're keeping track. We know who's who. You know what I'm saying? But you know, so Born said a national treasury. So national treasury, national treasury. Add on to that, put some details with that. So you said we need to know everyone and what they can add on, whether gold or later. I mean, look, God, these is things that see we got to go into the details of how we going to institute. And see the reason why I'm saying that, right? Specifically, this thing what you're saying, this was something that uh, Dumar was. So you say right here the adults, right? Okay, now look, that's an important detail right now. Now that's answering some questions on how this thing can get done, right? But look, I recall with Dumont YD, he started a book like that where everybody was supposed to write their name in the book. You know what I'm saying? Uh, uh, some contact information, right? And what it was that they could do. You know what I'm saying? Like if you was an electrician, whatever it was, different talents. Maybe you had a store, or what I'm saying, you were selling clothes, whatever it was, you were supposed to put in the whistle, right? Now, uh, at the time, I still had a lot of growth and development to deal with myself. So at the time, like, nah, man, who are these people? Hey, I'm not writing my name and nothing in no book for nobody. See, because I'm looking at the world from a different perspective at the time. You see what I'm saying? But just to say that, yeah, this idea in particular, right, that you're talking about, it was manifested, right? But now we got to look at, okay, why didn't why didn't uh, take off, right, the way it could have? You know what I'm saying? Not to shoot holes in it, but just to say that, okay, this is the part where we have to renew the history. You know what I'm saying? We can't repeat this part. You know what I'm saying? See, some stuff we could just wash, rinse, and repeat. But some things you realize that, okay, boom, these are the things that we had to learn. These are the things that we had to learn about that, right? So when is the last time the nation took a census? Never. Nah, I ain't never hear about the nonsense that happened. I just know that that's been an idea that, there's some things that have been ideas for the entire time that I had the knowledge. But when you say a national treasury, though, what do you mean by that? Like, uh, because it all depends. You know what I'm saying? What a nation considers as treasure. You know what I'm saying? If you're talking about jewelry, you're talking about money, you're talking about you know, as Mr. Saladin would say, our historical artifacts. You know, the babies. You know what I'm saying? Those is various things that nations might consider treasure. There's a lot of details in this idea, but the number one factor is trust with gold. My thought is that we are moving closer to trusting the nation. Yeah, that's a that's a factor. The Tiger Man lady. All right, I gotta put my. I did I hit the right button? Wait a minute. Tiger Man lady. There you go. So I got some new toys here. I guess you can see. Uh, something? I'll agree with you on that in terms of trust, not just with gold, but just the trust to do things in general. You know what I'm saying? You know, uh, just the that look, that you're not gonna fuck up. That's that's what that's what some of it comes down to too. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you see a lot of people, they like, yo, the guys, you know, uh, some people feel like the guys stand in the way of some of the ideas that they have. You know what I'm saying? But it's like we gotta, in anything, people gotta trust you not to fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't let somebody do your taxes or whatever it is. And so we are moving into certain things, and just the development of time. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, just the various environments. You know what I'm saying? The knowledge. Spreading out to different places. You know what I'm saying? The people that's on the front lines of making things happening, right? The people that's on the front lines of making things happen. Uh, yeah, I would say that uh, it's developing into. See, because at the end of the day, that what you're saying is that creates separation, and so it's difficult to be one body, right? That can make competent decisions, right, and come up with solutions. Instead of a room full of people kind of arguing in the same language. You know what I'm saying? Son of Love said everybody should pay $10 a month. Look, I'm gonna tell you something. I wish I would. Because see, that would take down. See, look, that's like. See, look, if y'all cut down, if y'all cut down the amount of money I was spending a month over there to $10, I'm motherfucking listen, man. I buy a motherfucking Lamborghini. Listen, I could buy a Lamborghini with the difference between that. Next time you see me, I'll be crushing. So like, yeah, put $10. Look, everybody put $10. Exactly. But see, this is where what Born is saying comes into, right? You got to keep it 100. You can't keep it 99.999. Who's going to hold the money? The chat room king. Who's going to hold the money? And who's got a say, right? Who's got a say in what happens with the money? Region 4 Building Group has been collecting $10 a month since February 2024. You see, look, that's a small group, right, where the trust is developed. See, that's a small group where everybody's right there, right? It's everybody's right there. Now, see, you said there's four of us in charge of the one bank account. You see, this is what I'm saying. See, y'all in region four, right? Everybody's right there. So now, if the money come up missing, they know where y'all live at. See, that's the. You see, just in case. I'm not saying that that's gonna happen. So you said dues paying members have to say. Lenny Jones says a nation has a budget, money for this, money for that. I mean, all these things is true. But see, those things all have to be figured out. Like for instance, understand it. You started off and you brought up taxes. See, that was something that they had to sit down and think about. If I'm not mistaken, is the guy that started Macy's. A guy like he was one of those department store uh, founders, but he was the one that came up with the idea that listen, if we want people to pay these income taxes, right, it'd be best if we take the money out of their check before they get it. If these are the things that had we got to sit down and think about that. Like, see, when you say we're a nation in a nation, yeah, that's what a nation is. You know, a nation is when we sit down, right, and we develop, you know, mathematics in a way that it could be beneficial for a large group of people. See, because what's beneficial to an individual, right, is not necessarily beneficial as the group gets larger and larger. What's beneficial for a large group, right, is maybe not necessarily beneficial as the group gets smaller and smaller. So doesn't a charter fall under the government? But it depends on who the charter is with. Said I'm down with that. I've been a member of Random Jews for a minute, and that subscription comes out of my account automatically. I can pay more for the school. I mean, look, that's at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. So small groups become big groups through time. Yeah, but it's that's got to be nurtured. But you know, is see uh, right now, and you know, at the end of the day, that's what it'll always be. But it's you know, it's just resting on the foundation right now of those that love and large mathematics. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I don't want to take a personal shot at nobody, but I'm just saying that that's who it is right now. Those that love large mathematics enough, right? Those that love large mathematics enough to do something. See, there you go again. All we have to do. So something like that. You know all we got to do. Famous last words. Is there a RJ membership? Yeah. We got the subscriptions, memberships, all that there too. But those is the things. At the end of the day, what y'all saying is, like I said, I'm not arguing with it. But see, like you said, looking at various examples. When you look at various examples of, how large groups of people make things happen. So with all these so-called 5%ers, we should have an account with at least a million. Yeah, but see, like I said, I don't want to say that people don't love large mathematics, but I will say that, you know, with any given thing, right? Like, look, the other day, right? The other day, uh, I saw I saw some people fight. You know what I'm saying? You know, I couldn't really tell what they was doing. I doubt they knew what they was doing. But you know, I just watched it. Some older cats. You know what I'm saying? I ain't know them. So I didn't care if one of them got hurt. Like just on the human level or whatever, right? On a human level, right? Uh, you know, you can see it like the one dude he did. Look, he whooped him. So at a certain point, he's balled up. I'm like, oh man, you know, all of that. But I didn't. It wasn't. It's now look. If that would have been somebody that I knew, then I would have went over there and put like, yo, whoa, whoa, what's going on, man? Let's try to talk this out. I definitely wouldn't let you get balled up like that. I ain't care, you know what I'm saying? And so what I'm saying is that that's how I'm looking at, I'm saying with the nation, right? Where it's like, look, people can see things going on, but they don't really care. I mean, look, okay, well, look, here's the thing, Lenny James. Let's come from this angle, right? When I log off of this live stream, right, what can people do to bring about some of these things that you're saying should automatically happen? What can people do to bring that about? No, it's not even say my bad about it. I'm just saying that's how things get executed. You see what I'm saying? Like, look, when a minute ago, Warren brought up that America started out as a small group of people, right? Now, at least according to the history that we learn when we go to school, right? They was meeting up in these various bars, right? Saloons, taverns, et cetera, right? And you know, they they was coming with some resolutions. Like, look, we need this declaration. We need to send them some formal letter about how we see this shit. We ain't fucking with them no more, right? So now, when we leave here, okay, look, Tommy, you gonna write that up, right? Because you good at that. You write that up. Next time we meet each other, right? This is what we accountable for. Says start keeping a record of people who claim to love this nation. But I mean, you know, that's one of them. I don't think, if you ask 99 people, right, that claim to have this knowledge, you know, 99 of them, I think, is going to tell you that they love the nation. Like, that's pretty, what I'm saying? Hold on, you see, y'all grind me too because y'all didn't remind me that I have my food in the oven. Let me get my chicken real quick. You can still see, I'm favoring this side a little bit. But it's coming together. It's coming together. Definitely feel 100% better. But yeah, though, how we gonna, how we gonna measure that? You see, look, you said start keeping a record of people who claim to love this nation, right? But here's the thing, right? You know, I sincerely love the large mathematics, it's kind of like yeah. See if they let you put it in there. Sometimes they don't let people put the link. But indeed, this that right there, uh, uh, understand that this is one of the things that's organized right here. You know what I'm saying for the school revitalization. You know what I'm saying? Like this is another thing where I'm saying like that's kind of my point that there is a lot of things that's moving in the right direction, right? But the thing is, where's the support for it? You understand what I'm saying? Meaning, like, look, you mentioned another thing, right? The stuff that Father Shalborn is doing. All right, you know how much, sometimes that's what it comes down to. We don't want to have to make it personal, but we got to get down to the nitty gritty of, how much have you done to add on to, uh, any of those ideas that those brothers have came up with, and been asking for support. You know what I'm saying, for 4 years, months, and days. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta ask each other that too. When we start saying about what we need to do, you know what I'm saying? Like the we gotta start with me. You see what I'm saying? So like you said, it's even if it's not gold, right? How many times have you been to the school, you know what I'm saying, to see if anything needs to be cleaned up? How many times have you been to the school to, organize some type of activity for the young? You know what I'm saying? And it's not, that's not, I mean, even though I do want you to answer that question, right? That's not, individually me taking a shot at you. I'm just saying that all of us gotta ask that. You see what I'm saying? Because you would be in your mind, you would be living off some shit that you did 20 years ago. But the reality is, the world around you reflect that, yeah, that was 20 years ago. But the funny, I mean, they had a good amount of change in there the last time I checked. So understand it, said personally, I was up there a couple of weeks ago and told them every time we come, we need to bring something. All right, now, when you said told them, who's them? Put the, hold on, let me see something. Maybe if you come on the live stream, you can put it on there. know why I can't put nothing. It's not letting me put that in the chat either. Not sure why that is. Hold up. Let's see if we can get it from over here. You got it to go up now? I don't see it. But you said you told Day Son, right, about what we need to do when we come up there. But see, those is the people that's already up there. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't see it in the. Let's see. Trying to see if I can get to the what's your name. You said it has to get done. Otherwise, you're not a part of this nation. We shouldn't want for anything. I mean, God, for me personally, we gotta cross the line, right? We gotta cross that line over from, what we want to happen, uh, and what is going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all grew up with that saying. You know what I mean? Coulda, shoulda, woulda, but it didn't. Let me see. I don't know. Maybe if you come on the maybe from inside the live stream, you could post the link so uh, people can see that clearly. You said for green this month, we might have to pass around a bucket. Almighty true divine. Uh, I mean, I see what you're saying, but I just, for my personal taste, right? For my personal taste, a lot of that is kind of, we just, uh, you know, what's the plan though? Like I hear you what you're saying. Like we gotta do it, right? Or else. But let's not act like or else is this impossible situation that won't happen. That's the point that I'm making. I don't know if that sound got a little bit jumbled up just now. I think I fixed it. Said we gotta give look. I'm gonna tell you again, guys. Look, just now, right? Just today, one of the reasons why I was late coming on the live stream is that we just made the order. We just made the order for 120 book bags, right? There's no, there's no fund, national fund that I tap into. You know what I'm saying? I got some brothers and sisters that, uh, we one mind and we work well together and we get things done. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I, I, I'm a, I gotta do this to you this time, and I know it's just fucked up, but nah, y'all gotta get it. You, you see, I'm already gaved out. And see, for my own survival, right, it's reached a point where look, I gotta draw certain lines. But look, I already did this much right here, right? If we really a nation, look, somebody else gotta come and pick up and carry some of this. You see what I'm saying? Like it's look, it's something like that came up just a couple of days ago. People was like, "Yo, we might have to do this." No, I'm not doing that. Why? Because I already did this right here by myself. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. You see? Because I know how y'all is. I know how y'all is. Y'all grab me. See, let's say I do all this stuff, right, for the nation, and then my shit get fucked up. Ain't nobody gonna say, you know what? Let's look out, man. Let's get Christ back on the street. Y'all ain't gonna say that. I'm gonna say this motherfucker talk all that shit, can't take care of it. That's what you gonna say. Because if you was gonna say anything different, you would have been adding on now. So I'm speaking from that standpoint. Like I said, I'm with what you're saying, but speaking from the standpoint of somebody who's like, all right, I'm gonna, I'm gonna handle what I gotta handle, right? But when we doing something as a nation, right, and we just change, and this link over here or that link over there is weak, right? If this link over here or that link over there is weak and they don't do what they supposed to do, then the whole chain is going to be unsuccessful. So that's cool, right? You know what I'm saying? We're, you know, to a certain degree, it's like you appealing to people's conscience who don't have a conscience. So what is this? What is this? The Tiger Nut lady says that there was some lies here. What lies are you speaking on, Harmony Quality? You said that's why we need a main account that everything can come out. I mean, in order for stuff to come out of that account, stuff got to go into that account. How's that going to happen? Harmony Quality, we're waiting on you to speak on these said lies. You said if you needed help. I mean, God, it's not about me needing help. It's about since Frederick Douglass, God, at the very least, right? I'm saying that's because of the amount of speeches that he had speaking on things, right? Right? Frederick Douglass, you're talking about the same issues, God. Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King, the Black Panthers, Malcolm X, they were talking about the same thing the whole time. God was it's about who going to do something and who not. He said, I definitely add on with you because you have shown and proven that it goes back to the babies. See how this it's the new world that we live in now. But look now, where's the button here? Shout out to approval from women. Shout out to that. Said a fund that covers all ciphers. I mean, well, look, the example was used of the United States of America, right? You know, the United States of America has a budget deficit. Like they got issues with putting enough money in the accounts, the account, whatever it is, you understand, they got problems putting enough money in the government to pay for all of the stuff that they want to do. Right? Fortunately for them, they print the money so they're able to get around that. Right? So look, if our plan, right, is to uh, uh, you know, use this method, we gotta, we gotta look at that. We gotta understand that we don't have the power to print the money, right? So what's gonna be our plan to get around that? Do the book bags come with school supplies? No, the book bags is not coming with supplies this year. That's another hurdle, you know. Uh, understanding, calling understanding, the school supplies will be a whole other cost. Calling understanding, yeah, that's we gonna hit the cash out. So brothers and sisters are building some models that will show and prove itself to be good for multiplying. Yeah, I mean, those are uh, living examples. You understand what I'm saying? The true and living God. You know what I'm saying? Things where it's like, yeah, we have those examples in the two dimensions, right? We can only, because we're not in the third dimension with the people. To see the people that you around, right? You know, they examples right there in the flesh, right there in the real time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like you could read. A lot of people have read the autobiography of Malcolm X, right? And he's an example of how you can redeem yourself. You know what I'm saying, and deal with personal growth and all of these things like that. But that's in the past. You know what I'm saying? But then you got people that's right here that's applying the rules that has to be applied in this time, in this environment. But the thing is, you know, you can provide the example, but that's where it comes in, where it says, look, one only learns what one teaches self. So apply yourself if you want to build on something. Well, I think it's an important topic. I mean, we can move on, absolutely. But it is an important topic. See, because like I said, look, now that you bring it up, see, I wasn't thinking about that. But yeah, that was Bill Lad too. That was Bill Lad too. That many guys hit for those bags. My thing is just that, look, if we're gonna discuss it, right, let's discuss it in a form of the solution. You know what I'm saying? Should start passing that basket. I mean, that'll do some things, but You can't have confirmation bias, Q. So there might be a breakout discussion on this at the International Growth and Development Conference in October. That's what I'm talking about. Next day actions. Knowledge born. What we're gonna do tomorrow, you know what I'm saying, about this, whatever it is that we're speaking about. Because look, and, I mean, you are aware that, you know, there is a basket there. Understanding. Like, see, it ain't nothing between nobody and adding on to the nation except air and opportunity. So, look, here's another question, right? Understanding, right? Uh, like, how many people out in the communities do you say this to? And you said you had the knowledge since 1981, if I recall correctly, right? So, there's lots of people that we both know, right? That they had this knowledge, they got it with us, and we know that they haven't been adding on. How many of those people, have you been telling that, look, we got to go up to the school and, add on, whether it's money, whether it's time, whether it's, uh, know how, maybe, what I'm saying, how to build something, how to fix things, you electrician, whatever it might be, right? Uh, how often do we do that? Yeah, just realize that's not too much longer off now. October 11th. But at any rate, yeah, you said I was a savage in the pursuit for years, but that's what I'm saying though, right? Is that as somebody who went through that, right? You go through that, that's also, that's one of the things that you could do. I'm not going to say it's your duty, but that's one of the things that you could do is go back and try to save some of the people that you understand they struggle because you was in it with them. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe it's brothers and sisters that yeah, when you was doing your thing, whatever you describing right there, you know, you was seeing them because they was doing their thing. Okay, right. So you said you ended up in the interior for years. So certainly there's brothers that you was in there with, right? That since y'all came home, they haven't, and that's what I'm saying. That's one of the things that you could do. In terms of coming into this knowledge, that's our duty, right? We supposed to be saving our family and our community. So these are the people that's in the community with us, the people that's we going through all the same stuff. You see what I'm saying? A person can can give, when you from that location, you could give a person specific solutions. You can provide specific examples to say, oh, boom, you going through that right there. Yeah, how I overcame that was by this right here. You see what I'm saying? So, uh, just saying that those are the things that need to be done. You know, or those are ideas that I would have, right, to make that idea what you saying successful. You see what I'm saying? We're like, look, even if those, let's say you from Coney Island, right? Let's say if you just went around Coney Island to various people that you knew, like, nah, you know, you you say you love a lot of mathematics. Look, I'm on my way up to the school. You know what I'm saying? What you got? You know what I mean? You rolling with me to come take care of something. You want to send something. What's community cookout at the school on the 12th? We was told we need to speak with you. Yeah, that would help your situation greatly. So this yeah, and it's funny how these things always circulate. I'm always the last to know. So this right here, what time you talking? What's the hours? The 12th. What day is that? And when you say community cookout, right? Where's that? Who's 12 p.m. Almighty True Divine. I think some of your comments didn't come through because it just says in Talmel Understanding in Colorado. But say personally, I have a bunch of non-blood kids and young adults that call me grandpa, pops, and uncle because since I've been home, I've been doing my duty. I mean, that's good. That's excellent. But just saying what we talking about right now, though, right, is getting them to call themselves Allah. Like those is the people that see like the things you're saying, right? That's what has to happen. We got to say, okay, you got that group of people now. Uh, what could we do, right? What could we build that's for them, right? That benefits them. Whether we talking about education, whether we talking about jobs, whether we talking about recreation, or whatever it is, right? And then you got to bring them when you don't have to, right? But the ideal situation, right, is that you would be able to bring them to the school. You said around now, understanding that manifested the lessons, man up. I can't think of that. What is that lesson about right now? I can't. It's not coming off the top of my head. So 12 o'clock, Sunday afternoon, October 12th, right? And and so who's invited? When you say community, what does that mean? And I'm asking because look, I deal with this, you know, we know the 5%. So knowing the 5%, I'm asking when you say community, what is that? I said, all right, so babe, this is because we got to know if things is national. Yeah, true divine. All your comments ain't coming through. You talking about somebody's on the line. I don't know what you're talking about. You got to start from the beginning of whatever you're talking about right here. And so y'all planning on. So y'all got. What's the deal with the food? Earthly embrace. So y'all ain't cooking out. Y'all having y'all having more of a. It's kind of like a luncheon or something. The reason I'm saying that because I already see embrace on the grills like that. October Yeah, I mean, not for nothing. Just I'm picturing, the time and everything that you're saying. It sounds like y'all gonna be inside. But just look, find out about that. Find out if y'all gonna need the grills. She handling. Okay, she's handling. All right. Well, find out if y'all gonna be using the grills. That's mostly the what's the name. Uh, and uh, I don't know how y'all gonna what's the name. Like I don't know what y'all doing in terms of if y'all bringing everything there on at that time. You know what I'm saying? Or if y'all gonna need to store some things at the school or whatever the case may be. So the so it's the whole weekend then you say. Like October 11th is the summit. October 11th is the summit, and then 12th is the cookout luncheon, whatever it's gonna be. Alright, yeah, yeah, I got yeah. I mean, when y'all get some more details, let me know. That's the main thing. Uh, just how many tables y'all gonna need, and we y'all gonna need them at. You know what I'm saying? And if y'all use the grills or whatever. But we'll get down to the nitty gritty of that. We'll get down to the nitty gritty of that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know if you got anything else to say in terms of that. But I will say I agree with you in terms of um, you know, we gotta be God on multiple levels, right? You know, yeah, mentally, physically, you know, socially, economically. These is all various things. That's not our lesson, but just to we don't understand the 12 Jews of life. You know what I'm saying? And from a certain example, right? You said this new format shows YouTube chat overlap and overlaying another chat. I assume that is a part of the program. Well, see, I got the this other chat over here. See, on my screen is side to side, but this one allows me to see the comment quicker, and this one over here keeps the comment up for longer, so I don't have to scroll back up. But I'll take it down in a minute. Yeah, yeah. This is the second test video. You know what I mean? We got all this kind of stuff going on now. All this kind of stuff. Um, but when you look at the 12 jewels, right, from a certain perspective, right, you can look at knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That's mental. You know what I'm saying? That's about education, right? And then you got freedom, justice, and equality, right? That's social. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then you got food, clothing, and shelter. That's economic. You know what I'm saying? And then you got love, peace, and happiness. That's family. So just saying that, those is different levels. Just a perspective to look at. You know what I'm saying? Of saying that these is various, what you call it, areas of endeavor in life. That, you know what I'm saying, we got to master things on that plane in order to arrive at the science of everything in life, love, peace, and happiness. So, I agree with that, but it's just that, to a certain degree, I feel like, yeah, we at square one, right? Because, before I ever press go live on this live stream, right, those things was the case. If that was the situation before I ever pressed the button. And so now we just said that, yeah, uh, we need to, establish some, stay focused, right, on, because education, we decent. Knowledge is infinite. So I'm not going to say there's no progress to be made there. You see, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding running your mouth, we've mastered that. You know, just saying that we need to, it's got to be laid down. It's got to be, it can't be, with see, supreme mathematics, right, is the basic elemental form. It's the basic elemental form. See, what I'm saying is this, right? You know, uh, you can have a potato, right? A potato that you just harvested out the ground, right? It's in the raw, most basic form. But you got to know the recipe to make it potato salad or casserole, or to make it a part of a stew. You got to have that specific. You got to have that specific recipe. So you can't just know that this is a potato and that you're hungry. Not if you plan on having all this gourmet stuff. So that's what I'm saying. Is that the supreme mathematics, yes, the science of everything in life, but in this rawest form. See, that's why everybody thinks everything can mix with this. Because it's so basic, right? That, yeah, it's in everything. But see, we got to come with the exact recipe, right, to turn this supreme mathematics, right, into these social and economic levels. And look, the family level too, because that's another thing, that wasn't exactly our topic, but when we talk about, if we're talking about making progress, right, we see that, we know a lot of brothers, right, and sisters with multiple many children. that they don't come around. They don't want to be a part of this. And so let's not leave that level out too. You know what I'm saying? That area of life dealing with the family and love, peace, and happiness. So, you know, some try to summing up with what we had a little discussion about today. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, Don Bishop, are you still there? Because now, you know, this is everybody. If you came just to hear the math, right now's the time. You can go ahead and log off. Uh, I want to hear about some stuff that's a little is we don't know exactly what happened with that. But we're trying to figure out. We're trying to figure out. We need Don Bishop calling Don Bishop to come in and let us know the happenings, the runnings. But what's the deal though, Mr. Greenwood? What is other than that? What is the deal? We need to run through some of these effects too. I gotta figure out how to do various. That's what I need. I gotta get somebody send me some Bobby Browns. I need to get some Bobby Browns. What is this? You got this right here: communications, economics, education, health, public relations, and security. Is Are these you talking about just levels, various planes of life that you got to master, or is this uh like the itinerary of the summit in October? Like these are the topics to be covered over there. Yo, Sharon Love, speaking of that, you know where I was when I saw those two people fighting on I was even on Sedgwick University, right there by the back blocks back there behind the armory. Oh man. See, I was over around the way. I was over around the way when I saw that. Mr. Green one too. You know something? I should hit you. You didn't come. We went to the Raekwon concert. What day was that? Saturday. Yeah, over there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we went to the Raekwon concert on Saturday. It was dope. Don Bishop, man, where you at? Punch out. Punch the clock. Tell him you do overtime tomorrow. Guess he's going. So, anybody else, man? We got any last questions there? Do you have any last questions? If not, then I just go. I'll go ahead and get in the last of mine. Get in. I gotta go light this week. Last week I stepped up the intensity on the workout and did some uh, some exercises I haven't done in a while. I'm just getting back to the level of being able to do that. But yeah, whew, that left me sore. I'm still recovering, but I'm gonna get some lightweight work in. He said something popped in my head when he told reality he don't add on, he multiplies. What reality you talking about? This was See, this sounds like a specific conversation. You gotta bring me back. You gotta bring me back to that time. But either way, we was just and yeah. See, I just was there. I was there. Uh, I haven't. I need to go to that class more. P Almighty and Wild Supreme. Yeah. When you get a lot of reactions. Listen, a lot of reality, a lot of real. Pretty much, if you pretty much, but yeah, though, like I said, we was testing this out. It appears to be pretty good. I mean, how was the sound? Was the sound was the sound official? Is this something that we want to stick with? Yeah, like down busy. I'm still trying to find out what happened to the gorilla Hebrew man. I like. Do we need to go on the other? Do we need to go on? Uh, do we need to go on the city sciences to discuss this, man? You DMing it. Is it something to? If you're going to send it to the Allah Christ page, and then we might be able to react to it on here. Speaking of that, I have a reaction video. I do have a reaction video that's going to be going on the City Sciences page. That's one of the I've been working on some things. Because like I said, in terms of a lot of this, you know, we've covered a lot of ground, man. No, Eric Cook. We may have spoken too soon. So look, I mean, you're gonna stay with this original seed. So Eric Cook, you gonna stay with this personality, or what you doing? Yeah, but Don Bishop, look, we give you a minute. We give you a minute. And then I think maybe we should just go ahead and log off on this. Maybe we should go ahead and log off on this and go on the city sciences. All right, so let's go. We gonna log this off because look, I got the equipment. It's all hooked up. It's hooked up to everything, and then we're gonna come back on the city sciences, right? And we're gonna discuss that. So you know what? I'm gonna wind this down. What we gonna do, right? Is you go ahead and log off, right? Then by the time you probably begin to the red, right? I got my chicken is made. I'm gonna hook me up some rice, right? And then we're gonna chop that. So Eric Cook asked if he could be honest. I mean, whenever somebody says that, the thing is always, I thought they was being honest the whole time. He said, "Can I be honest?" I mean, look, I have to ask. I know that that's not what you mean by it, right? But what have you been being all this time? Like, see me, I just be honest. I just take liberty. I just, I just, I just take that liberty to be honest and shit. I don't fuck with a nigga say. You know what I'm saying? You know, but I don't know. Is that out of pocket? If that's out of pocket, y'all let me know. I keep telling y'all, don't let me be ridiculous on here, man. Don't let me be ridiculous. Like that ain't never. Look, you in a conversation with a person, like you talking for a while, and the person say, "Can I be honest?" Like, wait a minute, the fuck was all this? Or is it just me? He said maybe he means blunt, because aren't we supposed to always be truthful? That's what I'm saying. I just take liberties. I take liberties with the truth like that way. I just assume, you know, maybe I'm wrong for that. But when I'm talking to somebody, I just be assuming that I have permission to be honest. That's like, look, original see, that's what I'm not. So I'm not the only one. Right? I'm not unreasonable. You don't have to ask to be honest unless you've been lying the whole time. I mean, it's a possibility, Erica. Not saying that that's what you're doing, but that can, you know, reasonable people might wonder why you're asking to be honest in the middle of the conversation. You said, I assume you was a Muslim guy. No, I ain't assume. You I didn't assume. But look, get back to your point. What you want to be honest about? Let's not get caught up because see, I'm gonna tell you, I'm warning you, Erica. See, look, I got some new. See that? I got new toys, right? We got audio and visual toys. And so what I'm saying is that Summit Jam screen is ready, right? You don't want to end up you don't want to end up on that Summit Jam screen. You've been warned. But go ahead though, be honest. It's not me, it's you, Eric. You know, look, you how you a little bit older, but you need to try comedy. But go ahead though. What was you gonna be honest with us about? Let me get a glass of water. Let me get a glass of water while you coming up with an answer. position you was going to eat and get off. Don't forget about the chicken and rice. Yeah, hey, look, look, I was just wondering. I got some beans in there. I got some. I don't know if y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? I don't know if the mic gives me the ability to be doing all this, but yeah, I got some beans. I was gonna make some beans in my rice. You know. So Eric Cook said, "I told you my history. You tried to make me look bad." I mean, is that what you wanted to be honest with me about? Like, okay, look, Eric. See now, you wait a minute. Let me see. let me see. Let me see. Let me see if I got something here. If I got something here for the situation. Let me see if I got something here for the situation. Right? Okay, Eric, I really sincerely apologize for trying to make you look bad after you told me your history. But let's move on, Eric. Let's move on. And now, just tell us what you want to be honest about. Okay, so you want to be honest with me about revising some of our lessons. Okay, okay. Uh, so I mean, with you know, I mean, break it down. Like you want to, first of all, what are our lessons, right? What are our lessons, and you know, which ones and in which ways would you want to revise them? Whoa, 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 whoa. Stop the show, stop the show, stop the show, stop the show. You want to revise the mathematics and the alphabet. It's like all of a sudden we went from we went from not being able to use, all the various to. Okay, so uh, maybe you could tell us, maybe you could give us some insight here, right? Give us some insight on what you want to change. You said you can and will soon and very soon. Well, why'd you bring it up today? I mean, so look, I'm asking the question: Is is now one of the alphabets that you want to change? You want to take? I'm asking. Do you want to take now out of the 14th, out of the 14th supreme alphabet? Is that what you want to do? Yeah, but I'm saying, give me an example. Give me an example of a way that you want our lessons to be like. How could you make supreme mathematics more universal? And look, and that is a sincere question. When I listen, you can say whatever you want to say about me, right? In terms of anything dealing with confirmation bias or me being involved with this from such a young age that I might be blind to certain things, but I sincerely could not imagine what you could add or take away from supreme mathematics to make it more universal. That is a sincere question. I will come to your class to learn these things if you can show and prove. Like, give me. We need an example. Like, even if you don't want to go through all the details, it had to be something you was thinking about already. To come on here and say that, and then you're gonna say that I'm making assumptions. We're waiting on you, sir. Look. See, sir. Oh man, sir. Look, look. That's the comment in the century right there. See, look, I ain't gonna front. That's kind of why I'm letting Eric. That's why I'm letting Eric cook because he's giving me a chance to you know I paid for all this shit. See now, I get a chance to do my shit up. But look, Eric, I'll give you one more chance. I'll give you one more chance before the summer jam screen turns. Before the summer jam screen turns on you again. You know, we just asking a simple question about what you said. I just want to know. Just give me an example because I really don't know. You says you must change the 1 to 10. The 1 to 10 is not the mathematics in the alphabet. You said the mathematics in the alphabet. Now you're changing it. Hold on. Let me get this. Let me get this together. Yeah, I mean, wait a minute. Let me see if I can get the screen. See, y'all ain't seeing, y'all ain't seeing the full amount yet. What's going on? I'm looking for the right. See, look at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, but Eric, you got to stick with one thing. We changing the lessons here, or we changing 120? What we doing? So you bouncing all around. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. Wait, let me see. I gotta get myself off here. How I get myself off here? Uh, 7. 704 Joe. What's your deal? Yeah, this is where we at, y'all. I finally, hey, look, it took me a while. Look, hey, look here, man. Hey, look here. Look. So, Eric Cook. Eric Cook. So you want to change the science about the land and the water and the earth. See what y'all know about that? We got we got auto tune up here. So you said changing the science about the land, water, and earth. All right, now look, I gotta tell you this, Eric Cook. See, a minute ago, when I asked you this, right? What do you mean by, our lessons? Remember when I asked that a while ago, Eric? What do you mean by our lessons? Because see, our 1 to 10 don't have land and water in it. See, it's moments like that. Wait a minute. What did the five fingers say to the face? Listen, the five fingers, the five fingers thinks that you didn't hear. So once again, it's what the five fingers said to the face. The supreme wisdom 120. Once again, we don't have the supreme wisdom. So I guess that's. I don't know how you. I don't know how you. What's the. What is the. I don't know what is the. So Truth Seeker says, "Is this the brother from Atlanta, Eric Cook?" Yeah, that's him. No, we don't have the supreme wisdom. We don't have skunk in our 1 to 10. We don't have land and water in our 1 to 10. No. And this is what I'm telling you. If you got the knowledge from 5%, you would know that. Like these is the things you saying, I'm assuming. Assuming what? So look, I mean, look, maybe let's look at it this way, Eric. What you want to change He's already been changed. You behind us, man. Ah, man, listen. See, Eric couldn't cause people to pile on. He caused people to pile on, man. I told you. Didn't I tell you? Didn't I warn you about the Summer Jam screen? Let understand that we ain't gonna go there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, look, Eric Smith. I mean, Eric Cook. You know, uh, uh, yeah, that's the best I can tell you. Is that you need to uh, actually, study this science. You know, before you even make a judgment, right? Before you even make a judgment of that you want to be a part of this. You know what I'm saying? We not kids no more where it's like, yeah, person ain't get the knowledge and then they decide it's not for them and they move on. Like, now we at an age where we can weigh and judge things. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know how that, from your perspective, maybe you can answer that. You know what I mean? How that is to, you know what I'm saying, you doing something and then you find out that nah, that's not even. Okay, so who's gonna do it? Who's gonna ask Eric Cook? Who's gonna ask Eric Cook what his seventh degree in the 114 says? He said, "Do you know the colored man is the what is this emoji stuff? What is this emoji stuff here?" Okay, Eric Cook, what is your seventh degree in the 114 say? You asked for it. We just look, just the question. We just need the question. We ain't got all day. We ain't got all day. Come on, Eric. You only got a couple minutes. You only got a couple minutes here, Eric. Hold on. Come on, Eric. Don't tell me. Hold up. See, you see, Eric. Now I gotta introduce you to Clyde Smith. I gotta I gotta introduce you to Clyde Smith. You see, cause now you want to be in here playing Mickey Mouse games, right? While while you go while you go and look up the red and white copy of the lessons that you bought on Amazon. See, see, that's the real deal right there. You think we over here, who we supposed to be? Who we supposed to be? Explain that, man. See, this is the type of thing that had 500 wounds on you back in the days. This is how you get 500 wounds on you. When you think when you think you gonna be playing the gods on some Mickey Mouse shit. You see this Eric Cook? Hey, look, Eric Cook, we don't want to have to stand on business. All right? We don't want to have to stand on business. See, see what we trying to do, right? Is let you get a chance to clean yourself up. Cause see, like you said, even the devil get a chance to clean himself up. You see, you see, when you keep playing these Mickey Mouse games, then we got to break out Clyde Smith. You heard? So look here, man. This is what we gonna do, Eric Smith. We gonna give you a shot. We gonna give you a shot, right? Because we about to log off right here. We about to log off right here, and we gonna flow. We gonna flow over to the City Sciences channel. You see, you see, we going straight to Clyde Smith. So, but seventh degree in the 1 and 14, you ain't said nothing yet. What you think? We don't know. What you think? What you think? Hey, look here, man. We gon' holler at you, all right? We gon' holler at you, all right? But we ain't gonna keep going on this Mickey Mouse shit with you. You see what I'm saying? So look here, everybody, man. You know, if you down, if you know about the City Sciences channel, right? Head over there. We gonna be live over there in about 20 minutes. You heard? In the meantime, in between time, if you made it this far in the live stream, you know what I'm saying? Hit the like button, subscribe. You see what I'm saying? You know, in the meantime, in between time, I'ma sign off and say peace. Why does the devil keep our people illiterate? No.